Hey guys, Jacob here. It is currently the 2nd of November 2021, and this is going to be the first reset of November for the vendor reset. This week at the front desk, they're selling the Cold Relations. The stats on this are pretty low, so I wouldn't recommend picking this one up unless you guys absolutely need it. But I'm going to scroll through a few more items and point out anything you guys might want to pick up, especially if you're new. But overall, at the front desk, not too many options or anything you guys can really use unless unless you need them for stats or the talent on the gear and you want to put them in your stat library, especially if you're having a hard time trying to find a certain stat or pretty much attribute.
Take a look and see all the best stuff.
Next is going to be the clan vendor. This week they're selling the Pristine Example. If you guys do not have this, I would highly recommend picking this one up because for one, it does have weapon damage and headshot damage, and this is for pretty much either sniper builds or if you're using an AR with a scope. That I know a lot of people use headshot damage, or you can roll it to something else. But 90% of the time, I know a lot of people use this for sniper rifles, so you could get rid of armor regeneration and put critical hit chance or critical hit damage. I'm going to scroll through a few more items in case you guys want to pick this stuff up. The next item is going to be the max weapon damage on this holster, which is 15% if you guys need that for your stat library, and also max headshot for shotguns, and also max swap speed for LMGs. And also we have max weapon damage again on this Petra Defense Group holster, and we also have max critical hit damage on this ACS-12. So if you guys need any of those items, I would recommend picking them up. Another thing too is I am actually kind of surprised because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in a row that have max stats. So if you guys need any of this stuff, I would recommend grabbing it. But that's going to be about it for the front desk vendor. Next is going to be the Theater Settlement. This week they're selling the Fox's Prayer knee pads. If you guys are new or do not have these at all, I highly recommend picking them up. For one, they're one of the most used DPS talents in the game, or damage charts I'll cover that is, which isn't really a talent, it's an attribute. But overall in general, everyone uses these knee pads, especially for DPS or just overall around builds. And this has 13.2 weapon damage, 8% damage charts out of cover, and 9.5% critical, or skill haste. Can't speak today. But if you guys get rid of that, then you can put critical hit chance and have a pretty decent pair of knee pads for DPS builds, or if you're just trying to make a damage to target out of cover build. But overall, I haven't seen these for sale in a while, so I would highly recommend grabbing these if you get the chance. I'm going to scroll through a few more items in case you guys want to pick any of this stuff up. But overall, so far, this is going to be my #1 pick out of all of the stuff that's for sale currently. Next up is going to be the Campus Settlement. This week they're selling the Carnage, which has pretty low stats. So if you guys don't have this, you obviously can pick it up. But at the same time, you could probably find a better one in loot allocation areas. And the rest of the items, if you guys need them or need any of the stats, I would recommend grabbing them. The one item I will point out, if you are new and trying to make a critical hit build or just a, DPS build or trying to make one and you need some pieces, then you could grab the Sombra holster and get rid of the repair skill and put critical hit chance, and you could use this as a pretty decent holster for the time being until you find a better one, or unless you want to max it out with the optimization station, which might take some time, but you could use this if you guys are new. Over at DZ West, they're selling the Celebre shotgun. This is the 870 pump shotgun. It's the named version. The stats on this are pretty average, and you get perfect jazz hands, which is 30% reload speed. But personally, you guys can probably find this pretty easy out in the open world, or just open some caches in the DZ, or just farm for it in the DZ. Set your stuff to basically shotgun loot allocations, and you just have no time trying to find this. They're selling max critical hit damage if you guys want that for shotguns as well, but keep this in mind, you will need to get DZ resources, which you can get either by deconstructing gear and extracting in the DZ, or open tiny little caches where you'll find one resource per box. But overall, nothing too crazy for sale at DZ West. Next is going to be DZ South.
It's very good to see.
And this week, they're selling the Liquid Engineer Bellstone Armory Perfect Bloodsucker. Personally, I think this one is pretty bad to the fact it has repair skill and weapon handling, and it does have 170,000 armor, which you can get away with if you have more reds or more blues, depending on what you're trying to use it for. But overall, you can get rid of repair skill and put critical hit chance, and weapon handling could help you just a tiny bit. But I know a lot of you guys are going to be trying to find ones that already have critical hit chance on them, or even critical hit damage. I'm going to scroll through a few more items in case you guys want to pick up any of this stuff. If you need it, or need any of the roles or stats in general, or talents, then you guys can grab them. But that's me about it for DZ South. The final DZ is going to be DZ East, and this week they're selling the Ekham's Long Stick, which has Perfect Ranger. They're also selling the SOCOM MK20 SSR with max damage charts of cover. The named item, which is Ekham's Long Stick, is pretty bad in my opinion. You guys could probably find a better one in the loot allocation area. But overall, that's all they're really selling at DZ East. But if you guys need any of these items, I would recommend grabbing them.
Got
Next
something to
is
trade?
going to be New York. Keep this in mind, they do not sell any named items, but if you guys need any of this stuff, I would highly recommend picking it up, especially if you need it.
Thanks for
If you go
the
to the
trade.
atrium right here, take a left and then go right, another right, you will see Roy Benitez right here at the end of this tent.
What can I do for
This week he isn't really selling anything crazy either, but if you guys need any of this stuff, I would recommend grabbing it. But that's really going to be about it for the New York vendors.
Thanks.
Alright guys, thank you all for watching. If you guys need any of this stuff, I would highly recommend grabbing it, especially some of the max rolls at the front desk vendors and the clan vendor that is, and also the Fox's Pair knee pads at the base. But
Hey,
overall,
agent.
a few items you guys might be able to pick up and actually use, but a lot of these are pretty much useless. But I'll catch you guys in the next one.